mic too?
Yeah?
Okay. Just point it to whoever's talking.
Not ever at myself?
The connection doesn't go bad.
Oh, sorry. Here?
There you go. Otherwise, you might pull the cable out.
Thank you. I have not held a mic before.
Okay.
I do get to talk into it, right?
I'm mic friendly.
Right.
1, 2, 3, go.
3, 2, 1.
All right. What's
Action.
up? I'm here with Pete and Vinny of Less Than Jake, and I'm going to ask him, sorry, buddy, I fucking suck. And Vinny of Less Than
He used to be
Jake.
in the band, and he played trombone, so in your defense,
So you
weren't
do
too
play
bad off, but
trombone.
that was 2001.
Right?
A player called Pete, by the way.
Yeah, but
Fuck.
nobody knows his name is Pete.
Okay.
I know. So anyway, so is it good or bad when fans jump on stage uninvited?
Well, it depends on what year you're talking about, ironically, because I was just looking at old footage because I'm putting together a thing, and I was watching a show at the State Theater in St. Pete where the entire stage during the last song, well, it's basically the whole crowd was on stage. That's a little bit much of a problem because when you can't play the instruments, it's a problem. But, if someone just gets up there and dances around and tries to grab Raj's mic, that's not a big deal. Sometimes the security guards will think it's a big deal and chokehold you or something, but
Shit.
yeah, but that's not our problem.
All right, cool.
Or that's not our preference. We don't want them to choke you.
Okay. Do fans bring you gifts, and do they name like their firstborn after you?
Yes and yes. There's more people than I can actually ever imagine with their son named Jake. And then when you run into them and they're like, I named my son after your band. And I was like, you're kidding me, right? And they're like, no, Jake. And I was like, it's pretty cool feeling, but awkward.
That's not so bad though, because like Jake is a normal name, so it's not that big of a deal, and it's kind of a subtle thing. But it's the thing that freaks me out is just like any Less Than Jake tattoo, or when we sign some. This is where I get like, as you've signed skin, like people are like, oh, sign your names on my arm or whatever. And then now I always ask because I messed up one time. I was like, this guy was getting us to sign his calf, and I was like, I signed it kind of weird. And I was like, no, don't get that tattooed. I kind of messed up. And he's like, that's what I'm doing. And he totally got a tattoo, and he shows me every time now. It's like this weird like Bobo thing on his leg.
So 2 months ago, we just were talking about it. I had a baby, and then I named him Buddy. So when I went to Buddy, I go, here's Buddy. And he was like, this is weird right now. I don't know what's going on. So he got my name tattooed on him. So everything's cool now.
Well, the weird part, though, is that his kid is a girl, too, though. So she's going to have kind of a weird... It's Buddy with an I-E, which is what I always wished my name was, because people spell it different now. Okay.
You can't change it now because Buddy the chick she's number 1 now.
Yeah, the manhole, it is with an I.
Manhole, Chicago. Go there.
There it is. Sorry.
Under control.
Weird reference.
Yeah.
Both of us, but that's cool, though.
This interview's tail spinning. No pun intended.
Where do fans dance around the most? Like, where do they get down and boogie?
I'm going to have to go with all the way over on each side is where the fans, if they want to dance, they stay out on the periphery on the extreme sides.
You're not talking about at the venue. You're talking about which state or which place?
Yeah, like which state? Like Texas? Do they kill it in Texas? Or
I like your answer better, though. Like,
where do people?
like
Chicago, no
by
doubt.
the soundboard.
Well, that's what I thought you said. Where do fans get down? Well, I figured that we're at the show, so where are they dancing? They're dancing to the extreme right and the extreme left.
Trail, but they're just trying to pick up tricks, I think.
I tried to find my way into this festival, and I drove around a few times, and there's so many people out there right now, like, hawking the craziest stuff. Like, you want my own Tabasco sauce that I just made, like, in my house? Hey, I just borrowed this lemonade. Do you want to buy it for $10? Hey, Soul Food's over here, my Soul Food card.
Competition for parking, too. The dudes are, like, running out in front of your car, like, $10 to park here. Like, they're, like, waving you in like you have no choice but to go the same way.
and you get your picture taken with Elvis too.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
But that would make you want to park there, right?
Is he the Asian?
It is the Asian Elvis. You've caught me.
Actually, in answer to your question, though, I think in Tokyo they dance really crazy while you're playing, but then when you're done, it's like a Sprint commercial from the 90s where they used to drop a pin or whatever, you could hear it. It's completely dead silent. Like, they're like, oh, they wait, because I think they want to hear what you're going to say or whatever. They're all listening. They're very polite culture. But yeah, they go crazy while you're playing, so that could be one of the places where they dance.
Okay.
California is the last. Like, LA is the worst, though, because everyone's looking at the person
dancing.
next to them to
New
see
York?
if it's okay to dance.
No one's dancing in New York.
New York.
No one's dancing.
Maybe not in Brooklyn. It's too hip.
No one's dancing in Manhattan.
Bullshit.
People dance in Jersey, though.
Yeah, Jersey people go crazy. The Northeast is kind of a hotbed for us with that.
Florida's. People dance in Florida. People dance in Chicago. People dance in London. People dance in Holland. I don't know.
The David Bowie, Mick Jagger song.
dancing in the street.
I'm thinking we can dance if we want to. That's what's going through my head.
Men without hats.
Yeah.
The safety dance.
Okay, so now that there's Bambinos in the Less Than Jake world, are you going to not tour for a while? Because Roger's got
Never
a kid
again.
and you got a kid.
I mean, we're going to tour next year. We're doing a show right now.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Actually, next year is our 20-year anniversary as a band. And so we are going to have to do some sort of touring for sure. I think the plan, though, is to like not go on tour for more than like 2 weeks at a time, but we'll still go do stuff.
Awesome.
Got to pay them bills.
Yeah.
You guys got to come buy the shirts. Since no one buys songs anymore, you have to come buy our shirts. At least. As soon as you can download a shirt and like print it, we're screwed.
I don't think people are buying shirts anymore.
No, I bought the Scooby-Doo one. Kudos to that.
Okay, then I'll exclude you. But for the most part, when a band's 20 years old, Less Than Jake is next, the fans already have 13 shirts, 15 shirts.
Get old though if they like them, they get worn out. Because I've seen the dude like the Evolutionaries like, I got to get a new shirt because I've been wearing this shirt for 12 years. And it's like all like blood stained and like boogers on the armpit and stuff.
Buddy, I retired a Less Than Jake hoodie and a t-shirt, and I'll bring it out every now and again because I'm like, I love it. I have to wear it. It reminds me of being 17.
Those are the most comfortable shirts and hoodies. Too,
Fuck
the
yes!
ones that you've worn for like 10, 15 years.
And they're cheap as hell too, so that's amazing.
Nice.
Right? $16.
Especially if you bought it back then.
I know, right?
Now we're price gouging because we have kids. $75 for a t-shirt.
You should put a picture of the kids and be like, think of the children, won't you?
It's just a picture of the two babies on the shirt. That's it.
Yeah.
Please help support our children.
That would be
Like
wonderful.
the homeless people that have a dog. Give me.
Aw.
I give homeless people that have a dog money because I feel bad for the dog. I'm like, why did you get a dog? Like, I mean, I guess they need companionship.
Hold on for a second. Is this where JR got a mohawk done?
It was in Orlando. Was this where he played? Was it the Citrus Bowl? No. Well, no. The year that we did it, it was at the baseball stadium. Is this where it is?
We're here.
Yeah, this is where JR got his haircut in 2006. The Warped Tour was not at the fairgrounds that year. It was the one time it wasn't.
I saw him get a haircut,
He
not a
got a
mohawk.
haircut.
I got it. Yeah, I was at
but
that
did
one.
he get a mohawk?
I don't
No,
think I'm
he just got his
got a
haircut.
haircut.
Yeah.
He got his long
It was
haircut
pretty
on.
special too.
It was more like a bob.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Whatever. He
it
looked
was-
good afterwards. It was a good
definitely
day.
at the baseball stand. I think it was here, but we
I
weren't
just
in
was
the
looking at
stadium. We
that.
were on the periphery. It was like maybe right here.
That's what I just said.
Yeah. I think this is it. Yeah, the stage was right here.
Grab him some dirt. Take it back to him.
So I remember this backdrop thing right here.
A 360
We were in the
of
baseball
Less Than
field.
Jake right now. It's great. There it is.
Okay, so you
Some
guys.
synapses are still firing.
I like how
Excellent.
we lost one of the cameramen.
Yeah, he's like,
Fine.
"These
He's
are
stoked.
boring."
No. Okay, so
He's in
you,
there telling people in there right now, God, this interview's going to shit.
buddy, you guys do a set list. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what if a fan has a request? Like, how do they get it in? Do they have to be like, my dog is sick and I'm sad, and this is the only way that I'll be happy is if you play this song?
If they're homeless and they have a dog, they might get the request. No, I don't know.
I'm homeless and I like my own flag.
What song do you want to hear?
Sorry, my own flag.
Your
Please.
very own flag?
Maybe it was
I don't
on
know.
the list already. If it's not, it's
It
okay.
wasn't on the list already. I'm down to play it. You gotta ask this
So,
guy right here.
if it doesn't happen, that's fine.
He doesn't like that song.
Vinny, are you the man?
What?
You gotta answer that question.
Am I what?
You're the man. You're in charge. You say, I veto this song. Fuck you.
I don't know. I will discuss that. How about that?
How about you find out in 3 hours? Wait, what time is it?
I will find out in 3
Yeah,
hours.
in
I'll
3
be
hours from
stoked.
now, you'll find out if my very own flag is on the set
Let's
list.
synchronize our watches.
It's almost 4:20.
And 4:18.
Okay. So what do you guys do about like the hoochie mamas that run around now when you have ladies and stuff? The people that are like, look at my Less Than Jake shirt, but it's really
We go-
tits.
We go, look at my hoochie mama.
That's fair enough. If you're like, look at that girl, she's gonna kick
I've
your
actually
ass.
had a girlfriend almost the entire time in the band. I had like a year of singleness or something the entire time.
Were you still like ladies that have a girlfriend?
Yeah, no, I was pretty. What do you call me the monk all the time, Vinny? I was,
He is the monk. Because
my scruples are beyond
I'm gonna
others.
Be honest with you, that as someone who had dated and think, you slip up. You're in a band. You slip up. That's just the way it is. My man right here, I call him the monk because he never had that. He never had the slip.
You're awesome, buddy.
I
You're
wear a slip
awesome.
sometimes.
The monk. There it
Yeah.
is.
That's important.
I had my year and a half of single, and then whenever you break up with someone too, you got that like window of like 6 months where you're like goofy and you don't know what the hell's going on,
Sadness,
and you're sad and you're not sure if you want to hang out with a girl. So by the time I actually got around to being single and then like liking it, then you find someone and then you're back in like
Right.
monogamous world.
That's
That was the other thing too. Chris wants to start actually I don't want to give this away, but Chris wants to start a cartoon called Monogamouse, and it's like this little like superhero mouse that's like very monogamous, but he's constantly getting tempted by girls and stuff, but he's like very true to the scene.
By him saying Chris wants to start a cartoon called Monogamous, he wants someone else to start a cartoon called Monogamous. But then he owns it still though. He wants someone else to do the work.
He doesn't like a lot of work. That guy. No.
Allergic to work.
Yeah.
The doctor said.
That makes me sick.
The doctor's like, you can't work. You're deeply allergic to work. Maybe if you have a flare up, take a Benadryl. It's all good.
Flare-ups too. We'll leave those alone over
He's
now.
addicted to Benadryl now.
Right? I totally understand. Like a
He's
rapper.
addicted to Benadryl.
Didn't he used to dress up for shows? Like he was a basketball player. He was his dad once. Like whatever happened with that?
Many a thing.
Was that just too far back in the
That
day?
was too much work, apparently.
What the fuck? Will you please tell him?
I think
You
what
don't have
happened
to, I'll
actually.
tell
Now
him.
this, in his defense, we carried a lot of those costumes in this big like duffel bag, and he would. This is partially his fault and partially whatever, but he would just kind of put them back in the duffel bag and then like go through it again the next day, and eventually they got really gross. Like there would be times when he would wash them and hang them outside the bus or whatever, and it was like a yard sale outside of our redneck bus. But yeah, so he kind of put it on. Well, and also you can only do a certain amount. You can only do it for a certain amount of time. It was like we had the skull guy and we had the clown and stuff. After like a year of doing the same thing, you don't want to get pigeonholed into this. So you just got to kind of change it up every once in a while.
Do you
I kind of miss the costumes though, because Chris was he would take on the character too. Like you missed all the behind the scenes. Like he would do it on stage, but like he would be that guy. Like after he put it on, he would be hanging out and be whatever, like the vacuum salesman or whatever he was. It was like, yeah, it was a little bit of fun.
Yeah, it was great. He was fun back then.
That was the most work that Chris DeMakes has probably done in our entire career. Was
should bring him like a dapper hat.
On.
Should be like remember the time. Chris?
Yeah, exactly.
Remember?
We could rehash,
Sell
if
me
you
that
will.
vacuum. Sell me a rainbow.
The hardest work Chris ever did was finding marijuana in
London?
Yes.
And
No,
Soho.
Glasgow, by the way.
That was hard.
Did it in
Nobody.
Soho too that one time. We went to the shadiest part. I think you actually found it though.
I found the drugs in
sober guy.
Soho in London. There it is. I found them. They were great. I also found great drugs while everyone else was crumbing in Lisbon, Portugal, like in fetal position. Literally, some guys were in a fetal position, like fetal position, because they wanted drugs that much. I took it upon myself to walk down the sketchiest alley possible in Lisbon, Portugal, and cop drugs. There it is. Woo!
You are the man.
Oh
It's
God!
True. Get off your chest.
There it is. I feel liberated now after this interview.
There'll be an extra present in your stocking, I feel like, at the end of the year.
You say you feel like a Libyan?
I feel like a Libyan after this.
Yeah, I hope you don't feel like Gaddafi right now. He went down hard.
Really?
No pun intended. I don't know if anyone watches the news, but
Yeah, it's sad times.
I saw some YouTube
What's
clips.
going on?
You didn't see how he went down? Again, no pun intended.
All right, there it is. There it is.
What else?
Is
you
that
got?
it?
What
I
else
got.
you for us?
You know what I really
What else
want
do
to
we
know?
twist around inside?
Okay, so I've always wondered, like back in the day, why don't bands dance to other bands? Is it because you'll get like fucked up and you won't be able to play your own set,
Like before
or?
the
Yeah,
set,
yeah.
like at the same show.
Yeah.
I go out there all the time. I don't.
Do you?
And me and Roger are in the crowd. Lots of times I end up standing next to him and realize that I'm standing next to Raj. And he is the one that would actually go for it too. Like if we're like if the Descendants are playing with us or something, he used to go in there and go crazy. I go out there and watch, but I'm like 850 years old, so my days of like doing that, or maybe I save that for jumping off the stage during our songs, maybe.
Which a 40-year-old man, you got to watch the hip.
You do.
Literally, I actually
You
did
do.
it right
You
now.
got
watch
an
it.
appointment on
You
it.
got to watch the hip.
I broke my hip. I've fallen and I can't get up. We're all on life alert, so it's,
Are you?
it's
You're
kinda
like
rough
life
to go out to.
insurance
Yeah.
check.
Yeah, we got those bracelets. I'm not wearing
Right.
mine right now.
I'm worried for
anything
you.
happens.
Fuck, we got your back. It'll be okay. Have you ever gotten food poisoning on the road? You travel, you eat fucked up stuff.
Yeah.
It sucks. Can you play the next
Chris
day?
makes us food. Every time you eat after Chris, too, because he likes to, like, he hangs out in his boxers with them pulled to the side, and then he's like, he'll, like, be playing, this is, like, late at night, he's all kind of drunk, he's, like, playing with his butt, and then he'll go into, like, the chip bag and eat, like, Doritos, like, gobfuls, or the cereal bag. So, like, anytime you eat after him, like, I watch, too, I take note now. Or, like, the cheese packet or whatever, which he can't open either. He's like, and then, like, then there's cheese everywhere. So,
I will not. If I see the bag of chips open, and then I look over and I see what's going on, and I see Chris's hand dip in, then I know that the deal's done.
You gotta take notes. You're like, okay,
So-
Doritos off the list.
Yeah, it's done. It's done now, because I've seen him like full on do the crazy scratch, right? Full on do like the snot in the hand, and then go for the Dorito bag, and I'm like, dude, really? Or like cruises into the bathroom, baby wipes his ass, then no washing, cruises back in, and then does the dip into the like. I go, come on now, man, really? You're gonna do that? Mental notes. It's all about mental notes on tour.
Yeah.
The do's and don'ts of touring.
The do's and don'ts.
Don't do anything after Krista makes.
I'm petrified of him now. Thank you. I'm scarred for life.
So am I.
Yeah, exactly. 20 years of that.
You guys are real troopers for putting up with stuff.
We are.
Pooper troopers.
Okay, let's see. Do I got anything else? How do you guys feel? We kind of touched on this when people just cross their arms and stare at you and like the New York people and the LA people.
Like during the show?
Like, how do you
Chris
feel
calls them out.
inside?
Dude, Chris is good at that. Like, this whole interview is about Chris. Why is he not here? He always says it too. He's like, "Oh, you there with your arms crossed? That's a defensive posture." Like, he says that every time. He's like, "What's wrong with you?" or whatever. And it's been going on too because I was watching this old video and Roger was calling people out. "Are you okay out there? What's going on with you? What's wrong with you?" So like, you got to make them feel uncomfortable. Usually they're just kind of standing that way, like they're like, tired or something. Most people aren't like, "I hate this band. I can't wait to stab him in the throat." It's like
$20 yeah, and I hate them.
I never thought of it that way.
Like that too. I got like night terrors about like getting called out for that. Like if I have my hands in my pocket, texting too. Chris is like really good at calling people out on texting at the show or using the phone. But now, see, that made sense about 5 years ago because texting was like a thing. But now there's so much video and so many other things you could be doing on your phone. They could be sitting there going, "God, Chris hasn't aged a year. He looks fucking great. Everything about him is so hot." Like she could be texting her friend that, and he's like, calls him up, makes him come on stage, embarrasses the crap out of him. Yeah. No texting in rock and roll. That's his.
I feel like I should tuck that away to get on stage. Like, that's
Yeah,
shitty, but I'm like,
6
woo,
buttons,
maybe.
like a Bobby Brown, like earpiece in.
I'll do that next time. We'll be like, this is my Chris outfit. It's going to fucking work.
Money, right, Ted?
It's my prerogative.
Okay, how do fans go too far? When do you want them to like just back off and not run up in your face? And like, is there a time and a place to say I love you? Or
I think most of that really depends on the mood. Ooh, like that cloud looks like a feather. That's awesome. Way to dive out of that question.
or a fishbone?
Way to hippie this thing up.
Double rainbow. I was gonna. I can't do it. Triple rainbow. It really is a mood thing though. If you're like in a bad mood, like you're having a bad day, and someone comes up, like I'm pretty good about like just putting that aside and still being kind of cool or whatever. But sometimes you're just not in the mood for it or whatever. But you have to always take a step back and go, "Oh my God, these people are a fan of your band." Like you gotta embrace that, not like, "Oh, get away from me, I'm busy." Like it just, like I said, it just kind of depends on your mood. Like most of the time we're all pretty good about that, but they're like the drunk fan that comes up to you and they're like, "Man," they're all in your space and like hugging you and stuff like it can get a little much.
I at certain times would require during the cold and flu season at least an arm's length. I mean, if someone literally is sneezing and coughing, I don't want them like right here. Like I just don't want that.
Remember the SARS epidemic? Like we were on tour during that on the Good Charlotte Newfound Glory. It was the Honda Civic tour or whatever, and we were going out to the merch booth every night to go like sign stuff or whatever. And this one night it was in Canada too, where the SARS thing, like it was right when it first started, and it was like in Toronto or Montreal, one of those two places, and we had to go out, and the only way to get to the merch booth was going through the crowd, and like this is when people still knew who we were or something, and we got kind of like mauled. We were like trying to get through the crowd, and it was like fully surrounded by people trying to like inch through the crowd to get to the merch booth, and it was like we were like, "Oh my God, nobody brought a gas mask, we're fucked."
Instead of a bad case of SARS, we got a bad case of syphilis from Toronto.
Oh my God.
So,
Worse than food poisoning.
Not the monk though.
Not the monk.
Monk's clean.
right now, there's 2 out of 5 members of Less Than Jake with a sexual transmitted disease.
Raging.
Guess which ones? You don't have to now.
Not buddy. I'll give you a hug later.
What's a contest? Facebook.
Yay!
Facebook us. The 2 out of the 5 members of Less Than Jake with a sexually transmitted disease. First person who wins gets.
Aaron Newfer and Pete Anna.
Can you guess Chris's front and back? Does that count as 2 members of Less Than Jake?
Front to back.
Oh, there it is.
This is what happens when you send the drummer and the trombone player to do an interview. Yeah, the edit would start at the beginning and just chop all the way to the end.
I think did you want to see it?
Oh, the Avett Brothers? Well, good plug. The Avett. I don't even know how to say it right, too. Every time I say Avett Brothers, I get corrected. It's like Avett Brothers or...
It's about that, honey.
We got
4:35.
One more good question. Let's
Son
get
of a
it.
bitch. It's going to be, can I please get a picture with you guys?
Yes.
Thank you.
Interview over.
Sorry, everyone else.
A hot snap. Let's do it. And since now all video cameras are cameras,
Yeah.
oh, you just took it, didn't you? While talking. Let's do another.
Oh, no,
Yeah,
yeah.
you put the mic down. Here we go. I'll even get the product placement out.
Anyway, let's make sure it's in focus. That'll work.
Awesome.
All right,
Sweet.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yay. Sorry, I had to sit through that.
Or something.
Do what now?
Can I get a handshake or something, please,
Oh yeah,
buddy?
I am
don't wanna creep
mildly
you out.
sick, but
I washed
after
my
we just
hands,
talked about that. Oh,
and I
there you
try
go.
not to
Yeah,
put them